Hey everybody, it's Gauntlet and welcome to the Duskmourn House of Horror Arena Direct Event. If you've never heard of these events before, they are your way to win physical booster boxes of Magic cards shipped directly to your door. Very cool event here. If we win, we're going to get not one, but two play booster boxes of Duskmourn House of Horror. It is a very high stakes, very high risk, high reward events. It is 5,000 gems to enter, which is the equivalent of about 25 bucks, and you don't get anything back really unless you get 5 wins. Then all you get is your entry fee. If you get 6 wins, you are in the money by a lot. You're getting a couple play booster boxes of Duskmourn, which is pretty cool. We are playing best of 1 sealed, probably the most high variance competitive format in Magic, and we've got to win 6 wins before 2 losses. We only have 1 loss of breathing room today, so we're going to have to pull a great sealed pool, we're going to have to build a great deck, and we're going to have to play really well as well, trying to skirt our way towards the boxes without 2 losses, with only 1 loss of breathing room. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and bust open these packs, see what we get to build with today. All right, I already like this sealed pool way better than our first one. We have 2 incredible green rares. Twitching Doll is a great mana ramp card that doubles as a win condition in the late game, sacking itself and making an army of spiders. The Balustrade Worm is another great green spell. It can't be countered. It's 5/5 Trample Haste, and it just gets a bunch of damage in and comes back from the grave later. Our best rare is probably Overlord of the Mistmoors. This card is insane. 4 mana for 2/2/1s with flying is already fantastic in sealed, but if this lasts on the board long enough, if it's been there for 4 turns, it becomes unlocked and starts attacking as a 6/6, spitting out more 2/1 flyers, which is ridiculous. You can also hard cast it for 7 mana to immediately get the creature out of it. The Roller Crusher ride is also insane. Just a big X mana win condition, a one-sided board wipe. You're blowing up all your opponent's creatures, especially if you have Delirium. There's more efficient red removal with the Unholy Heat. If we can do some kind of Naya deck here, green, white, and red, that would be incredible for us. So I'm going to be leaning really heavily towards that. When we have bomb rares this powerful, the sealed pools kind of give you quite a clear direction of what you should be doing. So we've got Bleeding Woods, Raucous Carnival, and Hushwood Verge here for Naya dual lands, which is great. We also have the Twitching Doll mana fixing the Overgrown Zealots mana fixing. We didn't get any Spine Seeker Centipedes. That's a little bit of a bummer. But it looks like we've got some pretty decent fixing here to try to play all these bombs. At the very worst, the Roller Crusher ride is super splashable. So if we're green-white at the core, we just run like a couple red sources towards this pretty easily just off of the mana dorks alone. So pretty happy with Naya here. Colorless and multicolored, there's no colorless fixing here. That's a little rough, but there are Glimmer Lights, so no matter what mana we're drawing, we can play our early game creatures. Those are pretty solid. Found Footage is good at digging towards your bomb rares if you've got a really bomb-heavy sealed pool like this. So that's interesting to consider. And we do have some of the green-white uncommons that are fine. We might run if green-white is the core of the deck and red is the splash. Got the really good red-green removal spell. This is a beautiful sealed pool. I am going to look at every color because I always do, but I am massively, massively leaning towards like green, white, splash, red to get all of the biggest, bombiest stuff in the deck. There's just enough cards in here that are going to lead to complete non-games that we should just be running it. Because it's like, well, if we have Overlord in our opener, we can make it to 4 mana, we're probably going to win. It's just impending this turn 4, you know, so that's just already an incredibly massive reason to play white, and white doesn't look bad at all either. We have Exercise, playable and sealed. There's some big creatures and, of course, artifacts, enchantments. Trap in the Screen, excellent removal. We've got Optimistic Scavenger, which is actually really solid with enough other enchantments. We have a couple. Trap in the Screen, Overlord, Glimmer Seeker makes 1/1 glimmers, Fear of Surveillance is an enchantment, so Scavenger does not look bad here. Normally it's incredible. If it's in draft, then you can really draft around it. It's going to be great, but obviously we're at the mercy of whatever we've opened here. We've got fine filler creatures all along the curve. I particularly like the Unsettling Twins. It's some really good blockers. But you know when a card like Unsettling Twins is pretty solid in the format, a card like Overlord of the Mistmoors is completely broken. Like if 4 mana for 2/2/2s is decent, 4 mana for 2/2/1 flyers plus get a gigantic 6/6 and start attacking with that is insane. So white looks quite solid. Blue, I do like Meatlocker, Drowned Diner a lot, and Unable to Scream is pretty solid. Bottomless Pool, Fear of Isolation is pretty solid, but there's no insane mythics here, and the other creatures are kind of weak. The Piranha Fly, Double Peeper, Clammy Prowler. Yeah, there's a few pretty good cards here, but not going to hold a candle to the insane bombs we have in other colors. Same with black here. There's fine removal, 1 Final Vengeance, double liver die. That's kind of it for black. Checking out the red. Ooh. Maybe red's a core color. Well, yeah, no, some of these creatures are pretty filler. Hand That Feeds is certainly filler. The Playmates are filler, but those are like main deckable filler. Soul Rage is just bad. We could Pyroclasm and play a really controlling deck. I don't think that's going to be the direction we want to go, though, with all these good red 2-drops. But maybe. Yeah, red looks pretty solid here. I mean, the non-creature spells are what's super exciting, but Fear of Being Hunted, Piggy Bank, and Irreverent Gremlin are still quite good, and the rest is okay filler. Last but not least, we've got green here. We're hoping green's our best color because we've got the cheap fixing in green to have this as the core of the deck. And I don't know if it's our best color, but it's pretty solid here. It actually probably is our best color. It's a little lower on removal, just 1 Monstrous Emergence, but it's got a great amount of 2-mana creatures. It's got 2 pieces of cheap ramp. It's got some synergy here with the Survivor card of Defiant Survivor and the Fear of Exposure to try to tap that down. It's got the great Balustrade Worm Bomb. Yeah, green looks pretty excellent. Green is almost definitely the core to the deck. I'm probably not playing Frantic Strength, but everything else is perfectly playable. And do we want to go green-white or green-red at the core? I'd like to go green-white at the core, ideally, again, because then it's easier to hit double white for that Overlord, whereas our best red card is super splashable. And white actually has just as much removal. Red has 1 Unholy Heat, 1 Roller Crusher Ride. White has an Exercise and a Trapped in the Screen. Obviously, those are like weaker than Roller Crusher Ride, but we can splash in the Roller Crusher Ride, and then we have access to all of that. Spirits is borderline playable. Yeah, I feel like white's creature base is just as good as red's, and it gives us access to better removal and makes sure that it's easier to hit the double white. Instead of trying to splash in the double white, we can just splash in the single red cards, and they're still pretty good. Yeah, this looks really exciting. This is going to be a quick, simple sealed build. I could play a beatdown. I feel like I'm going to have enough removal to not want to splash that in addition, though. We'll see. Could splash Pyroclasm. That's probably also not a thing. Let's see what we got. Cut 11 cards. Yeah, 11 cards is a lot to cut. We have 21 creatures. We also have Manifest Dread, so 22 creatures. Let's cut down like 5 of those at least. Get down to like 17 creatures here right off the bat. Looks like a chunk of 3-drops here. Cut some of the more filler ones like Hardened Escort, Cult Healer. Long neck, probably more filler than Cult Healer normally, but that Scavenger does really like the enchantment creatures there, and I would like to keep Scavenger in the deck if I can. So cut those 4. Still 1 more to cut. Defiant Survivor is such a coin flip card where, like, if you get 1 survival trigger, like, you're in such an incredible spot, you're probably winning. But when you can't get a survival trigger, it's really bad, right? Like a 3-mana 3/2 just ends up trading down into their 2-mana 2/2, and you're really at the short end of the stick there. But like, wow, is it so good when it does get the survival trigger. I mean, we could cut like an Acrobatic Cheerleader here. I do still have 5 2-drop creatures because the Manifest Dread as well. That's probably reasonable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 17 creatures now. Oh, and 2 Glimmerlight, actually. Yeah, we have tons of creatures. The Glimmerlights play well with the Scavenger, so I do like that. I guess we maybe still cut a long neck here. Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, baseball bat. Card's fine when you're getting a nice aggressive curve, but often it's just going to be better to keep playing more creatures, ideally. We're almost definitely cutting Pyroclasm. We actually have like a great green-white aggro deck at the core that can cheese people out without the bombs. And the bombs are just the super icing on the cake. Found footage also a bit slow for this deck. We'll just naturally draw the bombs now and then while just playing a normal great green-white aggro plan. So removal is going to be Exercise, Trapped in the Screen, Roller Crusher Ride, Unholy Heat, and Monstrous Emergence, even if I cut Beastie Beatdown. Although Beastie Beatdown might be stronger to splash than Unholy Heat. It's more narrow. You have to have a good creature on the board. But if you do, then it does more damage than Unholy Heat. And if you have Delirium, then it's way better than Unholy Heat if they don't have the instant speed removal up. That's the other issue with this kind of card, is if they have the instant speed removal up when you try to use this, you get 2 for 1 really badly. They kill your creature and counter your removal spell. So it's quite the debate which one of these gets ran, but I think only one of those probably. I guess Baseball Bat does have some pretty cute synergies in this deck as well. It could tap our Defiant Survivor. But just curving out with Baseball Bat does get the blockers out of the way. Maybe Baseball Bat's better than I'm giving it credit for in this build. Maybe like say its name is the cut. Yeah, this only returns creatures or lands. If it returned any permanent, I think it would still be pretty worth running in here. Because then, like, you know, we can pick Roller Crusher Rides, Trapped in the Screens and stuff up. That would be pretty excellent. But the fact that it can't pick up Roller Crusher Ride is actually quite a big mark against it here. And we're aggressive enough that not often will we prefer to play a 2-mana draw spell, right? We're almost always just wanting to play more creatures on the board if we have the option. So I'll just run more creatures to have that option. Okay, again, we have Roller Crusher, Trapped, Exercise, Emergence. Solid removal count. Run one of these two. Got maybe one more creature here. One of the long necks, I suppose. I could cut both of these and try out the Baseball Bat as well, because it does look cute in this deck. What is the actual creature count right now? It's 16 plus Manifest Dread, double Glimmerlight. So we can definitely cut a creature or two as well instead of these removal spells. I almost feel like, just for the sake of mana consistency, I want to cut these two and then cut a creature for a Baseball Bat. And then the only red spell is the giant X mana spell. I don't need red mana until turn 5 million. But I have Bleeding Woods and the Carnival and like one mountain. I could have 3 red sources plus 2 Adamant of any color. So I can have like 5 red sources in this deck at very low cost to our mana base. Yeah, I'm going to keep the beatdown. This feels like a beatdown deck. One more cut. 2 more if I want to put the Baseball Bat in. The land count is 17. I have a lot of 2-drops. I have some Mana Dorks, as well as a little bit of Surveil with Wary Watchdog and Fear of Surveillance. That helps like mill non-lands trying to hit lands. I feel like I can pretty fairly cut a land here. Because this, I mean, we can just play it at 4 mana, it's still good. The only thing that we really need a million mana is Roller Crusher Ride. Otherwise the curve stops at 5. Yeah, I'm gonna cut a land here. 14 green, 8 white, 2 red. 7, 8, 9 green, 6, 7, 8 white, 1, 2, 3 red. Cut a white source. Still have 7 white sources and 2 of any color. I almost wouldn't mind running just 2 red sources. But, I mean, we're running the Beatdown and the Roller Crusher. If I run just the Roller Crusher, I think we'd be fine with 2 red lands and 2 Mana Dorks. But if I'm going to still run the Beatdown, it is probably best. 3 lands and 2 Mana Dorks. Okay. Yeah, the only last considerations here is if A baseball bat's going to be better than one running like another one of these creatures. We do have a lot of creatures here. I'll run a baseball bat over a long neck. We'll see how it plays out for us. I mean, I could also run Unholy Heat. The Unholy Heat splashed in might be better than the baseball bat main colors. It's pretty close. I could cut Manifest Dread just so there's no chance of milling the Roller Crusher ride. Even manifesting Overlord is not very good because, you know, if I Manifest Dread turn 2 and hit the Overlord, it's probably gone forever. Highly doubt that 2/2 manifested card is sticking around until turn 7. At the earliest, right? Because 7 mana, that'd be if you drew a land every single turn, which doesn't happen that often. All the way up to turn 7. It's more like turn 9 or 10 that you could flip that up. At the minimum. I guess we've got the Mana Dorks too. Yeah, I don't know. This deck doesn't really have any Delirium or stuff, so like the Manifest Dread doesn't really give us any huge advantages. Like it's good with Fear of Exposure, that's about it. Yeah, I'll cut the Manifest Dread here, just so I never mill a bomb, pretty much. I have 1 Unsettling Twins to Manifest Dread with. And 1 Defiant Survivor, but I think both of those cards are good enough to still run, even though they could maybe mill a bomb. It happens. Yeah, this deck looks crazy. This looks wild. I'm pretty happy with this. And pretty convinced this is definitely the color trio to be running with this sealed pool. Kind of built itself here for us. Double checking that mana base. 973. 2 lands total. It all looks great to me. I am very pumped to call it a deck here. Hop into gameplay. See how far we can get this time in the Duskmourn Arena Direct. Here we are for game 1. We have no red source, sadly. But we have the 2 most important colors in a good turn 3 play. Okay, I've got turn 2 Fear of Surveillance here. That's nice. Good draw is good. It's a long neck. Our opponent has started with Glimmerlight with their blue-black deck. Equip it. Hold it back. Let's drop a Glimmer Seeker. Pass through. Island Cycle a Daggermaw Megalodon. Ghost Vacuum. Ghost Vacuum is a pretty big problem for a long game. Trapped in the screen, the Ghost Vacuum. Really rather not do that. Hold it for now. Let's just get some damage in and maybe get the Glimmer token. Let's Emergence the 2/2, I'm thinking. I could also play Storyteller. If we hit a land, I can Emergence and Storyteller in the same turn. Or sorry, Emergence and a 3-drop in the same turn next turn. The other one, not the Storyteller, if I play the Storyteller now. I have no instance for if they have a trick against Glimmer Seeker. I mean, they're blue-black, though. What trick are they going to have? I guess we'll find out. Let's get blown out, right? If they don't have the trick here, they trade into... trade into Fear of Surveillance, and Glimmer Seeker hits them and makes a 1/1. If they do have the trick, then Fear of Surveillance gets in. They just kill the Glimmer Seeker. They do have the trick, it's Twist Reality, which was also the counterspell if I tried to play anything here. So, kind of did not have a great play either way. Killed an Entity Tracker, I'm pretty happy with that. We're definitely going to trap in the screen the Ghost Vacuum later, but ideally we'll do that with, again, 5 mana. I can Emergence plus Trapped in the same turn. Hopefully they tap out for a creature, I emergence it, and trap the Ghost Vacuum. Final Vengeance. Okay. Sure. It's an exercise. That can also get rid of Ghost Vacuum. I cannot hit that 5th land, which means if they have the counterspell, Ghost Vacuum resolves. I guess by casting Exercise instead of Trapped in the Screen, then they have to have specifically a second copy of the counter target spell, period. It can't be the counter unless I pay 2, because I have the 2 mana up to pay. This does not look like they're countering Exercise. Alright, good, they are not. There's Glimmer Burst, draw 2, get a 1/1, but the 1/1 can have a Glimmer Light on it to block the Fear of Surveillance well. There's a mana. Second Long Neck and Beat down here. I don't love the spending removal on a Glimmer token, but I really think our deck has enough powerful draws that it is just worth consistently getting the Fear of Surveillance triggers to dig for them. Okay, a 5/4 Trampler is good enough right now. But yeah, especially when we're like also stuck off of another color, like we really need to find a red source. And mill that. If they play like any blockers, it's pretty bad. They do have the counter unless we pay 2. Fair enough. Flood out, I guess. Pretty devastating way to lose an Arena Direct run, so hopefully that was just their first loss. They might still have a chance there, but they had so many cards and apparently nothing to do with them. All right, 1-0 heading into Game 2. Game 2. I'm relying a lot on the Watchdog here. This is quite a gamble. Don't do this at home. You should probably mulligan this hand. But I'm a greedy Gus. Come on, Watchdog, you can do it. Oh, no. I think I have to mill that. I'm like, that's technically Fear of Exposure mana if I get another permanence. Like any other permanence. But it's just not any of my other 2 colors. Alright, we are officially punished. We missed turn 3 land drop here. That's actually insane. 5 forests before a single plains. Just gets an attack and we never attack with our thing again. We have to just pass. Threats around every corner. Fantastic fixing. They pick up a land every time they manifest Dread. I mean, they put it on the battlefield too, so it ramps up. Yeah, that's super gross. They're us, but better? All 3 colors are just a way more consistent deck. They have a threats around every corner in their pool. Oh my god. Not like this, Arena. I am begging you, dude. Alright. This was a risky keep, but the odds of drawing this bad were really low. It's comedy gold. It never stops. Here's the 4 mana 4/4. Pass turn. Sure. It's clobber in time. Still stop all the damage for the turn and trade off into a card. Another Unsettling Twins gets them another land from threats around every corner. I'm nearly halfway through my deck now. 16 cards in. Ooh, now we're bombed. Enduring Innocence draws them a card off of every 2 power or less creature they play. Draw a million. Threats around every corner still triggering. Somehow it technically triggers with Machete because the Machete equips after the 2/2 hits the board. That's so brutal. So it's get a land, draw a card, and get a 4/3. 17 cards in. There's our first non-green source. That's just game. 1-1, heading into game 3. Took a gamble and it didn't pay off. Pretty simple game there. It was a risky gamble I probably shouldn't have taken, but that was like the maximum amount of punishment. Game 3. This is a keep. We have 2 colors. It's only 2 lands, but we have both colors, a 3rd mana off of the Twitching Doll. And obviously, if we draw into any lands, we have our strongest card in the deck with Overlord. Strongest card in the sealed pool, even. Playing against Orzhov. They're checking out the Twitching Doll. Can look, but do not touch. Thank you. They did not kill Twitching Doll, and that is just going to be turn 3 Overlord. I'm not going to sit here and wait to top deck 3 more lands. I'm just going to start impending this as quickly as possible. I mean, the 2/1 flyers are already a pretty massive impact on the game. I'm just going to insta-trade, because obviously if the game goes long, then Overlord's going to win it if it unlocks from impending. So just soaking up the damage there feels perfectly fine. This is any... Oh, untapped creatures or lands, not any permanent, so I can't tap Overlord towards Fear. Okay. Guess I just play... Long Neck? No, it's probably fine to Fear of Exposure here and deal less damage. Again, just playing the long game. I'm making sure to tap Twitching Doll for mana so that it gets another counter. If I tap it to Fear of Exposure, it doesn't technically get a counter. Haunted Screens, wonderful fixing for our opponent. I'm not wonderful in the sense of like it's a super good card, but I just mean it is all 5 colors. It is perfect fixing in that sense. Okay, so they did Sheltered by Ghosts, the Fear of Exposure. That's a little rough. Can exercise the Sheltered by Ghosts. Or I can Monstrous Emergence the Cult Healer, pay the 2 ward. Yes, that feels better. Yes. Reveal that. Auto pay. Cool. I'm very, very happy with my choice to impending the Overlord. Because we missed several land drops. Got a 4/5 out. Just exercise that, get everybody in. I guess I'm not getting everybody in because I'm tapping Twitching Doll here. For mana for sure. Alright. They're pretty much dead next turn. Even if they're not literally dead, the Overlord wins it. They have their own Overlord. They decided to not impending it though. Bold choice. See if it works out for them. X to X target creatures. I can go a red, 1/2, and then 2 to do 2 damage to 2 creatures. Kill all of the non-overlords and then attack with my whole team. Yeah, I mean, I just outraced their Overlord if I play it out like that. X equals 2. They block the 5, 4 takes 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Overlord does not trigger on blocks. So they kind of have to attack to have 2 blockers up. Which leaves them with not the 6/6 blocker. Cool. There's a living phone. That's 3 blockers total. Trapped in the screen to our Overlord, probably. Yep. Okay. I don't have the mana to Rootwise Survivor and crack the Twitching Doll. If I Rootwise Survivor, they block Rootwise Survivor with Living Phone, block 2 flyers and take 3, and then like kill me on the crackback. I feel like I need to make my Twitching Doll tokens here. Can Scavenger and Long Neck, which is interesting. 3 blockers, 1, 2, 3, take 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I can't kill them. Living Phone misses. Great sign. Player on the combat trick, but then if they have the combat trick, they eat a bunch of my 2/2s and I'm less likely to get the lethal crackback. I want to have the lethal crackback here. Okay, they don't have the trick. Great. That was scary. I played Overlord of the Mistmoors, Roller Crusher Ride, and a Nesting Doll, and still felt like I might lose to just Overlord from opponents, so really well played from them. But we got there. We are 2-1 heading into Game 4. All right, Game 4, we got our 2 main colors again, green and white. We do need to top deck lands. Obviously, we've got 3 and 4 drop creatures, but I do have the Glimmerlight turn 2 to get us started. All right. There's a baseball bat, I guess. We'll see if it earns its addition to the deck here. I was going to say, if it ends up really bad, then I can cut it for another land, but we kind of gave away a free loss earlier, so if it ends up being really bad, we just be out of the event. Because we're only 1 loss from out now. Playing against green-red. Green-red-black, they're junding around here, as we did yesterday. Sawblade Skin Ripper starts things off. That's probably scary enough to trap in the screen. Because if they have any sack synergy, they can start clearing out more of our board quickly. Well, I don't know. There's enough super threatening cards in this format that I might want to hold off. Yeah, all they can do is kill a 1/1 for free right now. play a long neck here. Trial of Agony, I will easily just kill the long neck then. I'm drawing no lands right now, which has been pretty rough draws, but the Zealot is at least helpful. There's Wary Watchdog from our opponent. Take the 3 from the Skin Ripper. Perfect. Now we have enough mana for everything in the hand right now. I'm going to play the Unsettling Twins. It feels pretty great against the Menace. I hate that it hit double land. That's pretty bad. Especially hitting one of our red sources. For if the Zealot dies, now we're really unlikely to find red. Winter. Interesting. If they get full Delirium, that starts being a little bit of an issue. Which I guess is what they're working towards with this attack. But until then, this is equally advantageous to us both. Everybody's drawing 2 extra cards a turn. I guess it's rougher for me right now because I'm more stuck on mana. But it draws me into the lands to help cast the spells that I draw into, so it's probably going to be fine. There's an exercise if it becomes a problem. Oh, this is only a creature with power 4 or greater, not toughness, so I can't actually exercise it. Can't trap it on the screen either, it's got ward 2. So we just gotta play Survivor and pass. Baseball Bat also costs 2 mana to target it every time. Impossible Inferno the Survivor, that gets them to 3 out of 4 types and pokes me for 3. Come on, land. What's going on, man? We're definitely playing Twitching Doll, so we play Twitching Doll in Fear of Surveillance then. There we go. There's a land. Okay, if they get Delirium, I'm going to have to throw removal at Winter next turn. If they get Delirium this turn. Murder Twitching Doll. Still 3 out of 4. No blocks. Down to 13. Tyvar. Jeez. Okay. Well, they don't have Delirium, so I can just kill Tyvar instead for now. Because they don't have an untapped creature to give Tyvar indestructible either. So it's 2 mana to kill Tyvar with Monstrous Emergence, so I can Monstrous Emergence, reveal Long Neck, cast Long Neck. This is how you know you're playing Play Booster Sealed in these Arena Directs. It's just the bomb town. I actually probably should have milled that at this point. Okay, yeah. I just hit the land club now. Should have surveilled that. Cackling Slasher, 3/3 Death Touch. Pass the turn. Still no Delirium. But now the Winter as a blocker is annoying. Can Baseball Bat up the Long Neck, tap down the Slasher. Time for Baseball Bat to really shine. Oh, you know what we actually do? We can put it there. And I can also Glimmerlight there. That's a keep. If they kill Zealot, it's rough, but We're late enough in the game now, I doubt they're going to try to kill Zealot. Because they know I've got enough lands in hand to just play a land every single turn. And I haven't shown them a need for any non-green or white color. Okay, we are trading into winter. No more bonus card draw. Not gonna throw removal at the slasher. They drop a land. Pass turn. That's a lot of mana to just pass turn. Well, let's see what trick they've got here, because I've got really nice ways to flip the board back in my favor after whatever nonsense this is about to be. And it is lethal on board. Kind of got to go for those. Could just be the world's worst flood. You never know. Scavenger's basically like a 3/3 maximum right now worth of stats. I don't think we want to draw that right now. Live or die, reanimate winter. Alright, that's pretty cheeky. Get a free kill on Unsettling Twins. Take 7, go to 2. I should have tapped my lands differently, but whatever. The dual land is now at risk of dying. It is what it is. Bashful Beastie. Concession from opponent, okay. 3-1 it is now. And Baseball Bat worked fine there. I mean, it was pretty important because they had the Death Touching blocker. Yeah, the game would have taken a lot longer to win without the Baseball Bat, but I think we were probably in a good position to win without it over time. I'm still a little concerned with our land draws that we should just be running 17 anyway. But I mean, realistically speaking, look at this curve. I guess we've just been drawing the 4s and 5s a lot. Yeah, that's the big question here. It's just the mana base, really. The amount of lands. I'm gonna run it back. It looks so reasonable to me as a 16 lander. 2 mana dorks in the opener. Ooh, turn 1 optimistic scavenger. Nothing else, that should be a decent lightning rod for removal spells. We are playing against blue-white. There's the creepy peepee. Honestly, with this hand, I don't mind trading in the creeper here. Okay. They're not going to do that. Thought I'd offer the trade. Erratic Apparition. Alright. 1/3. It gets +1/+1 to line of turn every time they get an Eerie trigger. I get the Balustrade Worm next turn. That's gonna be spooky. Let's just go for maximum board state here, right? Unsettling Twins into the Worm. I have to top deck a land to do that. So it is possible that we don't Worm next turn. So maybe it would have been safer to just go like Zealot Baseball Bat here. That would be more likely to play Worm next turn. But I like getting this wide board state ASAP. And it makes the Worm even more of a blowout if we do land it. Alright, it's a lot of Apparition damage here. Thanks to the double Eerie from the entryway Rotunda. But obviously now I can just go ahead and spend removal on the apparition. Be pretty happy. I don't think I'm doing it just yet. I have the blockers for all the ground troops. I'll take another 2 to 4 damage in the sky. Get the worm out. Tunnel Surveyor, that's another apparition trigger. Quite a lot of blockers. 1 mana left? 2 if they've got enchantment. Ooh, it is an enchantment. Stay hidden, stay silent on the Balustrade Worm is fantastic here. But they're down to 2 cards in hand now. They are definitely going to need removal for Twitching Doll as well to stay in this game. Do I just sack the doll right now in case they do have the removal? I kind of want to buy it another turn. Get at least 3 creatures off of it. But it's certainly safest to just sack it now and guarantee at least 2 creatures of value. Alright, please don't kill Twitching Doll. I beg. Savior does not kill Twitching Doll. That's huge. That's huge. Savior is pretty threatening, though, if it survives an attack. It just feels like we are just definitely popping the Twitching Doll then. Where is it best to put this baseball bat right now? So I'm flipping up a 4-2. I could flip up a 5-3 if there's a bat on it. But if there's a bat on it, it's a 3-3 already, so they're already going to block it with 3 toughness. It's not like we can trick them. It doesn't get any extra toughness off the flip. I guess if I put the baseball bat on the face down, then I can tap not Savior the Small and have a chance of killing Savior. I don't think that's going to happen, though. No, I still should have put it on that, though, just to have a 3-3 on the attack here and trade into 2 things. Yeah, I guess I just don't attack at that point. Okay. Yeah, no attacks. Now I've got a 3-3 attacker, I guess. Cool. We just grind our way through their board. If I attack all, they just go block, 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 take 3 damage. They're at 4. They get to mostly trade because they can put a 2-2 on our 2-2, a 2-1 on our 2-2. Just put the 1/1 on the 3/3. Okay, Glimmerlight makes this better. Oh, Glimmerlight is so good. Because I forgot the Scavenger trigger too. Okay, yeah, that's super sick. This is a really good attack now. Tap the 3/4. I feel like now is the point it's fine to send in this 2/2 as well. So if they do that, then chump take 3. Yeah, no, I guess it's still not really any closer to lethal. This already forces them to bad blocks. Even with an Enduring Curiosity. That makes me even happier I didn't attack farther, because that actually would have been pretty good. I mean, really good if I sent the 2/2 in. It just eats one for free. Ooh, they let the face down in. I love it. Yeah, happy with that. Put them to 2. Oh. Or force removal on long neck. It's not forced yet. They can take it. Jump scare the Surveyor. Alright, cool. Save the Surveyor. Okay. Better blockers for the 3/4. Okay, they're on their final blind top deck. Actually, it might not be final. I haven't done the math yet. If I let that survive, they get an Erratic Apparition up as a blocker. Yeah, we trade a 2/2 into it. Unless their blind draw was good. Yeah, no, if I let that in, they draw 2 cards. They draw a card and make a 1/3 flyer. Yeah, it's really bad to let that in. GG from opponent. 4-1 now. That means we have made it not to where we're in the money, but where we are getting some amount of our entry fee back. We're getting 2,000 gems back, and I'm pretty happy with that because I've only got time to record 5 Arena Directs this time around, and I only have enough gems to play 4 of them if I lose every single one. So now that I got this reward, I'm going to have enough gems to do 3 more after this event no matter what. I already recorded the first one. This is our second one. Even if I lose the next game, we're at 16k gems and I can play 3 more after this. So that feels really nice to at least get to the gems here. But obviously, I'm going to take it as far as I can as we head back into the gameplay for game number 6. More baseball bats. Baseball bat survivor could be a thing. We're on the draw, so again, part of what makes survival pretty weak. It gets much weaker on the draw. By the time that I'm trying to declare an attack with my 3/2, they have 4 mana creatures to cast as blockers, so really unlikely to get in particularly well. But if they don't have removal, then this hand's turn 4 is a survivor plus a removal spell. Or sorry, a baseball bat plus a removal spell for their survivor. Sadly, they're going to be playing 6 drops by the time I attack with the survivor because they're on play and have a mana dork, so that is really bad. Okay. Best of 1 play booster sealed strikes again. An unstoppable slasher can easily just end this game off of the 1 card. I can never profitably block. They have a murder anyway, and anytime I get hit by it, I half my life total. Basically, like, have to hit Overlord right now or the game's over. And I've actually been drawing a really low quantity of our rares and stuff. So Slasher is like, even if I kill it, it just comes right back stunned for later. So even throwing a removal spell at it is a losing gambit. Like, I can trade into it and then also throw Emergence at it, but then I just die to the rest of their board because I've spent all of my action on that. Wish that triggered in the other order, but it is what it is. Double Stick Twister too. One card from Delirium where that just shoots me in the face for lethal. It's a tragic way to end it, but that's just part of Sealed. There are complete non-games of Magic. Like, I could spend every resource I have on Slasher and then die to everybody else if I wanted to die that way. This isn't a game of, like, finding the line that saves us. It's finding the line that chooses how we want to die. There's literally no play that survives another turn now. God dang, dude. Yeah, alright. 4-2 it is. At least we got enough gems to be able to play the rest of the Arena Direct, but that's Unstoppable Slasher for you. It's in the name. An unstoppable Magic card. 4-2 is going to be the final record for this Sealed run. I think this deck is very, very strong, so it certainly earned the 4 wins at least. I think we drew really weak for how powerful this deck is on average. Like, if you look at, especially both of the losing games, but even some of the winning games, like, I feel like I did not play a lot of our incredible rares. Like, I think we played Overlord once, unless I'm going crazy. Maybe twice. We Roller Crushered once. We Wormed once. I did Twitching Doll a lot. Twitching Doll showed up plenty. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like this deck was one of the better decks we could have built. It was really solid, but you cannot win them all. The biggest thing that we could have done differently today was definitely the greedy keep in the first loss. I was taking a gamble there, and it really, really, really didn't pay off. Again, it was like a calculated risk where it's like, I'm probably going to have to wait a couple turns to hit the mana, but then we're going to have a pretty solid hand here from then on. And then we just hit really the lower end of the stick there. We hit a bad string of variants there where we had to wait infinite turns to get any mana, and then it was just an auto loss. So it was a slightly bad keep, but it was also really, really bad luck from there. I think the average draws off of that keep make it a fine keep, but certainly would have been safer to mulligan, and we should have done that here. I think the other thing that I wasn't considering is, like, with a deck with this many bombs and stuff, like, we certainly aren't hurt as much by mulligans as most decks, because if we take a mulligan, we're down to 6 cards or we're down to 5 cards, we have enough cards in our deck that can make up for that to where it's okay to just mulligan to more consistent hands here. I think that's something I really needed to think about in my head. That could have changed that first loss. Is normally in Sealed and Draft, like, it is quite a bit of a downside to start the game down a card. So if the hand's pretty reasonable and has a solid chance of hitting mana towards casting a bunch of stuff, then often I will just keep it, even if there is some risk involved. But the stronger the best cards in your deck are, the more you're incentivized to mulligan, because if I get a 6-card or a 5-card hand with one of these, like, each of these cards can single-handedly do as much work as 2 or 3 other cards, right? So, like, a 5-card hand with an Overlord in it is probably better than most of our 7-card hands that don't have an Overlord anyway. So if I end up mulliganing down a card or 2, we're not really going to get that punished if I do hit one of, like, these powerful cards. And because we have 3 different versions of really powerful cards that can get, like, 2 or 3 for ones, it just ups the amount of times we should be mulliganing early. It tips the scales in the favor of trying to just hit more mana in the opener than trying to keep the hand and get the right draws. So I think it's probably the big learning moments of today. Second loss, I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do there? But the first loss, for sure. Just mulligan decisions is all it was. Yeah. Pretty sad to see this deck not take the Arena Direct down, because I doubt I'm going to open up a deck stronger than this anytime soon. So that means probably our potential easiest run got deleted pretty quick by a couple unlucky games in terms of a bad keep into bad draws and then a blowout from our opponent. So we're going to have to really, really fight for the boxes because, again, I doubt we're getting anything close to this powerful in the future. But we'll see. We got a few more Arena Directs in the tank to run out here in the future. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.